Alright guys, today in the shop we have a 2015, this is a Silverado 2500 HD, and we are going to change the alternator. Pretty simple. There's an overview of the motor. There's your alternator right there. You can pull up our cover here, it just pulls right up. A couple of tools you're going to need: 15 millimeter, a 9/16, a 1/2 inch, and possibly a 10 millimeter, but you may not need that. And what we're going to do is, up here is your main power cable going to the alternator. That's a 1/2 inch. We want to remove that. Before we do that, come over here to your battery. Right here is the power terminal, but where I disconnect it, I already did here, was where it feeds into the main terminal here. There's a 9/16 nut on here. I already removed that because when you remove this cable and set it aside, you don't want this touching any metal or it'll spark. Disconnect your 9/16 bolt right there, your power source to the terminal, and you'll be fine. We'll take that cable off. Then you have this little harness going in here. There's a pin on, there's a little clip on the back side. If you push in and wiggle up, that pulls off. Then we're gonna have a 9/16 here, 9/16 here, and down here on your tensioner pulley, there's a 15 millimeter right in the middle of that. We're going to put our 15 millimeter socket on there and push down, and that'll take the tension off of our belt. All right, so I've already got that cable disconnected. Now I'm going to disconnect this one. Now we're going to do these two, which I actually thought those were 14 millimeters. They are 15s, so we're going to take them out. All of our bolts are loose now, so we're going to go ahead on our tensioner pulley and put our 15 millimeter on there. This might be a little difficult to do, but you can see I have the drive on there, and I'm going to push down with it, and that will loosen our belt up here. It's a little hard with one hand. You want to try to remember how this belt went, so take a picture of it before you take it off, in case it comes all unraveled on you. All right, now it should be loose. If it's tight, you want to get a screwdriver under that side, which you can stick under the alternator and then pry up like that. That'll loosen it up for you. And now you should be able to just lift it out of there. Here's our new one. Of course, you want to make sure everything matches up on these alternators. And this is there's our car quest number there, 42095A. And we'll set it back in there. Chances are it's going to go in there really snug if it came out really snug. If your bolt holes aren't really lining up and it feels like it's jammed in there, you're going to want to tap it down a little bit. Get a soft hammer. Don't get a hard hammer. And just keep tapping it until your bolt holes line up. Alright, so that bolt was a little tough getting in there. Even tapping it with the soft hammer was tough. So what I did was I took my drive and just kind of turned it, and it started feeding itself in. But I did have to take the soft hammer and tap on it a little bit to drive it through, and then put this back on again and drive it in even more. It was a little bit of a headache. I don't know how tough this other side's gonna be, if it's automatically lined up or not, but we may have to do the same thing with this side. See, that's not going in either. Let's see if we can drive it in with this a little bit. You can see it's starting to go in. There it goes, it's going in. We got those two in. We can go ahead. We can plug our harness back in, like so. And then we will put our power cable back on. All right, that's back on. Be very careful you don't over tighten this, because you can snap this off the back of the alternator. So just snug them up. And there is a little, you can see that little clip right there. See where these little cutouts are? Make sure that that clip drops down in there as you're tightening this, or it won't seat flat all the way. But that's on. Go ahead and cover that up. All right, Now we're back on the putting our belt back on. All right, I had to set the camera down because I had to push down on this with one hand and use my other hand to slide that back up over the pulley. But make sure your belt sits in those little threads that are on these pulleys, like there. Make sure they're all lined up and nothing slid off. And we can go ahead and we can reconnect our power back there. I'll slide that back on there. I think we pretty much have everything back together, and we can just throw our cover back on. And if you're not sure how that goes back on, you got these two holes right here which will line up to these. Just kind of, you'll feel it lock in. Now, depending on how dead your battery was when you did the alternator, you may need to get your jump pack or another car and jump start the vehicle. But at this point, you're done. Alternator is ready to go. So, hey guys, please hit subscribe below. Give me a thumbs up. See you next time.